Hello out there, everyone. The video that you are about to see and what I'm about to talk about is gun violence. Now, the video that you're about to see is from the Shady Hook Elementary School back in 2012, I think it is, and about the shooting and the worst disaster in the whole country. And I want you to see this video, then I'm going to talk about it afterwards, about how I feel about guns and gun violence. And we need to do something about gun violence. And here's why. Because I want you to see this video, I want you to look at it, and I want you to pay attention to it. And this is from the Shady Hook Elementary School, back in 2012 when 26 people died. So, here's the video.
I have these pictures, I have hair and teeth, and yet you go through these crazy motions of like, am I just dreaming all of this? I still keep expecting him to be there, but have I just gone insane? Is this real? Did he even ever exist?
We lost our son Benjamin the morning of December 14th to an unstable, suicidal individual who had access to a weapon that has no place in a home. Right now, professionals in every area pertaining to this crime, from mental health to parenting to school safety, are unable to connect the necessary dots to prevent this from happening again. When I look at this event, I see these dominoes, each of them very specific, that had to line up that way that morning for things to happen the way they did here. And when I look at that, all I see are the spaces in between where somebody, somewhere along the way, could have stopped the next domino from falling. The liberty of any person to own a military-style assault weapon and a high-capacity magazine and keep them in their home is second to the right of my son to his life. His life. Let's honor the founding documents and get our priorities straight. Thank you. What happened to our children was transforming in ways you can never anticipate. And there is an immediate human desire to just not to protect the rest of the world from having to go through this.
My name is Lori Bayette. I am a volunteer EMT for Newtown Volunteer Ambulance Corps, and I staff every Friday. In the early morning of December 14th, we had no idea there was a shooting. It was never, we were staging. I thought it might have been at the but that's what a tragedy is, I guess. Unexpected, absolute horribleness.
If you have a gun and you have a son, you should have it in a safe and maybe not let him know the code.
I'm always thinking about the shooter and his mother in particular. I'm certainly not into a space of forgiveness yet. Might never be, I don't know. If he had lived, if he hadn't committed suicide, actually, I wouldn't forgive him at all. And I don't forgive his mother for giving him access to the weapons either. And after 12, 14, you know, I used to have dreams about it. It's these crazy superhero dreams. Dreams where I'm in the classroom and I'm able to stop him, or dreams where I'm in the classroom and I'm not able to stop him, and I die with Dylan, but I'm with my son.
Yes, I was in the ER that day when the victims came in.
Can you describe the kinds of wounds and the number of bullets in these small bodies?
Most of the victims actually didn't come in, and we have such horrific injuries to little bodies. That's what happens. They don't even make it to the hospital. The coroner from the state of Connecticut, when he did his review, and this is public knowledge, stated that each body had 3 to 11 bullets. Okay. When a child has 3 to 11 bullets in them, and it's an assault type bullet that explodes inside the body, it doesn't go through a straight line. It goes in and then it opens up. That's not a survivable injury. This is a public health issue. 30,000 people a year die. Folks who have cancer and stroke and heart attack, there's a lot of research, but there's not the research. There's just anecdotes. On the day of Sandy Hook, I knew that a lot of children had already been killed and may not be coming in. But I only let the staff know that there were a couple coming in, the ones that we knew, because about a third of the staff we had actively working were from Newtown, such as me, and many of them had children in the school systems at that time. And so, as it turns out, we ended up getting just a couple of the victims, and we tried our best. We tried our best, and we were unsuccessful. I'm not an activist, but I said to myself that day that I'm not taking this one. I'm not taking this one laying down.
Somebody a sign when she and her dad went to the March on Washington in January following the tragedy, and there's a little spark in her eye, but kind of a look of like, I'm not really sure what I'm about to get into, but this is big.
12 relatives of Sandy Hook victims caught a ride to Washington aboard Air Force One Monday night after the president came to their state to hail Connecticut's sweeping new gun laws.
So Connecticut's shown the way. And now is the time for Congress to do the same.
The families of 8 Newtown victims will be back on Capitol Hill today. Tragedy has turned them into accidental lobbyists pushing for new gun restrictions.
I'm a guitar player. I don't belong in the halls of Congress trying to change the world. But here we are.
I was very naive going into this, okay? And I thought making sure that everybody that purchases firearms should have to go through a background check. I thought that was the low-hanging fruit, and that, if anything, that's going to get through.
What larger job description do they have than keeping their constituents safe? What's a bigger line item in their job description?
are committed, completely committed to seeing this through for all the changes that help eliminate the causes of gun violence.
We were downstairs in the basement of the Senate when we started getting news that it looked like senators who saw that it may not pass, then were jumping ship. And I was just incredulous, like, are you kidding me?
The gun control legislation that was supposed to tighten background checks was defeated today in the U.S. Senate.
We are here now, we will always be here, because we have no other choice. We are not going away. And every day, as more people are killed in this country because of gun violence, our determination grows stronger.
Right after Sandy Hook happened, we received a briefing about the horror that actually transpired. We heard all the politicians talking about something's got to be done. And now the politicians have backed off, and guess what? It's not on the agenda anymore.
So this is my son, Dylan. This is when he was about 4 years old. And this was taken about 4 months.
He needed me in a different way than Jake needed me. Are seen differently, sounds are heard differently, textures are felt differently. He actually added so much more to this family than we even realized at the time.
It kills me. I don't think people realize every day it's like taking my heart out and doing that all over again. And then at the end of the day, you just take all the tattered remains and shove it back in and wake up to do it again the next day.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay.
So last time, but I always hate to take y'all to the deep places.
Now?
Dylan, every parent thinks their child is special, so I'm no different in that regard. Dylan was an absolute brave son.
Hey, how you doing?
You're sideways. Look, you're still sideways.
Where are you? That's not our house.
I hear that still in my sleep.
You know, Easter marks for us the hope that every springtime holds for us. It gives us that promise that there is new life. For too many hours and for too many days, we've been caught up in a very gray winter. And now the days grow longer. The darkness grows less.
We're not going to let the darkness.
There is a volunteer firehouse just adjacent to that school, and that is where teachers were told to take the children just as soon as they could.
Are there families there who don't know where their children are?
There are still families here who do not know where their children are, and they're not being told anything.
You could feel it. You could feel the emergency in the air. You could feel panic. There was all this murmuring going on. The principal was shot. There's a couple of shooters. There's kids in a bathroom. There's a lot of little snippets of information, but hadn't heard anything about kids at that point. And then and then there was the room of parents waiting for their kids. We just kind of waited, and then they brought the children out, and it was heartbreaking to see them. They were all holding hands in a line. And I saw my Kyle come, and true to his personality, I think he was skipping and holding somebody's hand, and he said, "Mom, I didn't cry, I didn't cry." And his teacher came behind, and she had a wild look on her face, and she said they heard it all. She said they heard it all. They heard the guns, they heard the screaming, but they heard it all. And then you look over where the first graders are, and there's so many parents with no children. And there was that feeling of, where are their kids? And then I saw Mark, and there was no Daniel. Then the governor came up and said, we regret to let you know that 20 children were shot and killed in the school, as well as 6 educators. And when I tell you the room erupted, it will forever be in my mind. This guy walked into the school and he went left. Why did he go left? Kyle was on the right, the second door on the right. You know, why did he go this way and not that way? I don't know. It's not fair. None of this is fair.
Demolition work has started at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. The school, of course, the site of that December 2012 mass shooting.
For the first several months, I could not imagine why anyone in the world would want to go back into that school. And one morning, and it was literally one morning, I woke up and I had to go. I knew this. It answered small, minor questions that turn into huge questions when you're unable to sleep. You know, where was he? What did it look like? How big was the room? What it gave me was a remarkable amount of respect and admiration for the men and women who were there. I didn't have a face-to-face meeting with the EMT who
amazing local town here. Thank you so much.
Because of my role in there, I got a lot of comfort in knowing that it wasn't alone.
This just isn't supposed to happen. That's not D, because, you know, I was holding his hand and I could see there was these torn cuticles from where he bit his nails. My son was full of life. See, even then I couldn't, and so I still just can't accept it. That's why sometimes traveling is easy for me, because it's like I can imagine he's home. So when I come home from traveling, it's just, it's having to accept it all over again. And I don't know how you're supposed to get over something like that.
It's just something that I saw in the news, and I certainly never thought it would impact me or my community. And then it did.
Like the Hockleys, we moved to Newtown for the community and the schools. My wife Jackie's a school teacher.
Cool. And when we're coming into land, important things.
Hello, each and every one of you. Here I am again, the Dance Alive Dancer, and you have just seen parts of the video, parts of the thing that I seen tonight. And here's my question, and it's all about gun violence, and 26 people died in that massacre. Now here's my question. You know, I don't like guns, and guns should be made illegal. I mean, I don't even understand why you need a gun. Because you want to know something? Guns are for killing people. And, hey, I'm sorry, but I'm not for killing people. No, I'm not sorry. What am I talking about? I'm not sorry. No, I'm not sorry. If that offends somebody, that's too bad, too much. Too bad, because I'm not for killing anything. You know what I mean? I'm not for killing anyone for any reason. So, we gotta stand up and we gotta do something about gun violence. And are these massacres like Columbine and Shady Hook and all these other places going to keep going? Because if you sit there and you give guns to people and they're going to take and misuse them, if you know what I mean, and people are going to die. And we need to stand up and we need to change the legislation. We need to change it. We need to do something about this, because I'm sorry to say, this makes me actually made me cry when I seen this. I'm sure I probably heard about it back in 2012, but too much was going on. However, sit there and I had to actually sit there and cry. And I got a whole pile of photos from it too. But I want you to sit down and I want you to listen to this, because we need to stand up. We need to do something about guns in this country. I mean, not just the illegal ones too, not just the automatics. I mean, all of them, because all weapons, guns, they're for killing people. And I want you to sit there, and I want you to sit there, and I want you to watch that video back if you have to. And see these people crying and all this stuff because they lost their loved ones in a school massacre in Shady Hook that was never supposed to happen. All because somebody took a gun in there and killed 26 people. 6 teachers, 20 students. You know something that makes me cry. Because there's such a waste of life. We need to stand up and we need to do something about gun violence. We need to do it before more people die. And they should have passed that legislation back then, but they didn't. That doesn't surprise me, actually. But I am the Dance Alive, and I'm sitting and I'm looking at all this and I'm seeing, I don't see any sense in it. If you know what I mean. There's no point to this. Why would somebody kill somebody? There's no point to that. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry to say. That doesn't make sense for me for any reason. Any reason at all. That was senseless. 26 people died. And we need to stand up. We need to do something about gun violence. And it's up to you. I mean, I can tell you this all you want. But it's up to you and the people out there to stand up and get going and get rid of the guns. Get rid of the guns. Get rid of the illegal guns. Get rid of... Well, if it were up to me, I'd get rid of all the guns. Because guns are for killing. We need to put the guns away, and we need to be peace and shake hands with people. You don't believe that can happen? Hey, I happen to believe it can happen. And you're the one that starts to start that. Because I'm tired of seeing people die. I'm tired of hearing about it. We need to stand up against gun violence, and we need to do it now, today. So that's for me, the Dance Alive Dancer. Welcome, and I will talk to you later.